Alright, this is a pretty rare and exciting opportunity here. I'm going to try something out that's really cool. I think it's really cool, at least. This is a meal ready to eat. I don't know if you can even see this. Menu number 2, Chili and Macaroni from Right Away Foods Company in McAllen, Texas. As you can see, this is an older brown bag MRE. They stopped making these after 1995, which means this one is over 20 years old. And what makes this one special is that this was sent to me by Steve1989 MREinfo, and he had received a number of these old ones from someone named Jerry. And Jerry had actually frozen a bunch of MREs for about 20 years, 15 to 20 years. And when he thawed them out, it turns out that they were almost as fresh as the day that they were put into the freezer. Last year I did a video about the warning that's on MRE cases that says do not rough handle when frozen. And that was mostly just kind of a fun thing, sort of a tongue-in-cheek kind of a thing, an excuse to freeze an MRE and beat it up, basically. But there is some science behind that. The warning on that, it doesn't say that you can't freeze them. It just says that when they are frozen, 0 degrees Fahrenheit or below, you shouldn't rough handle them. And I went into a bunch of reasons why I thought that was. I believe it was because of the damage it could cause to the retort pouches inside. You know, the food itself should be fine, but I guess if you damage the packaging, then if it when you thaw it out, it's going to be susceptible to going bad quicker. And the other thought is that while you're not supposed to rough handle when frozen, freezing might be the best way to get the longest shelf life out of these. They're meant to be shelf stable, which means it's supposed to be able to be put on a shelf, put into storage for a couple of years, and last 3 to 5 years, a lot longer. The cooler they are, and the better taken care of they are. But they're certainly not meant to last 30 years. Usually when you do a review of an old brown bag one, it's kind of a let's see what we got in here, and you're going to find out most of the stuff isn't that good. You might be able to eat a little bit of it, you might be able to eat all of it, but it's probably not going to taste that good, and a lot of the things in it are probably going to have gone bad. So what Steve has done, he's already done a couple of reviews on these, and he's pretty much proven the fact that freezing them is the best policy. Well, I mean, they're still not designed for that, but if you want to go beyond the 3 to 5 years that they're supposed to last, and you have a reliable freezer that won't thaw out and refreeze like a defrosting or something like that, then that's something you can really do. Because you're not supposed to rough handle them when frozen, and you're not supposed to subject them to cycles of freezing and thawing. Both of those would be bad, but if you just freeze it and keep it in that state, it should be good for a long time. And I wanted to get this quick. Steve just sent this to me, but he said that Jerry told him that once these thaw out, they go bad pretty quick. The thing I was thinking of to relate it to was vampires, of all things. You think of a vampire in a movie. When a person gets bit and turns into a vampire, as long as they do what they're supposed to do, which is to be active at night and drink blood and everything, they're going to stay just the way they are. They're going to stay youthful. They're going to stay strong. They're going to stay just the way they were when they were first turned into a vampire. But then you expose them to the light, and as you know, in the movies, I don't know. I mean, we're talking about movies basically, but in the movies, they'll not only will they die, but they're going to the aging process will catch up to them, and they're going to turn into skeletons and turn into dust and disappear, depending on which movie you're watching. But these seem to be the same thing. These have been in the freezer for 20 years, and they just stayed in that same state that they were in when they went in. But now that they're out, the warmth of being in a room temperature, I believe it's going to rapidly age them. Jerry said that within a few months they kind of turn to mush. So you lose the benefit of them being in really good shape. So what it boils down to is we're going to get a chance to see a 21-year-old MRE and review it in a state as though we were reviewing this about 20 years ago. I know it's a lot of explanation, and I apologize ahead of time because this is going to be a long video, but I just think this is really important, kind of historical. I mean, yes, we're just talking about rations, I know, I understand that, but to me this is big news. And just go into a little bit of history about this MRE. Chili and macaroni is, what I like to call an old standby. It's kind of like the spaghetti with beef sauce, the beef stew, some of the things that have been around forever. And I actually thought this had been around forever, but it turns out it wasn't quite that long. But it's still manufactured. Chili macaroni is still one of the entrees that's still produced today. And despite the fact that the old brown bag MREs do not have any kind of date codes on them, it's actually very easy to date this one, because chili and macaroni was introduced in 1995. It replaced the corned beef hash, which I've never had, but I heard was a very good entree. So chili macaroni came along in 1995, replaced that one. And then in 1996, MRE switched over to the new tan bags. So although there was a Chili Macaroni in 1996, 97, 98, 99, forever after that, there was never one in a brown bag except for 1995. 1994 it didn't exist. 1996 it would have been in a tan bag. So this is a 1995 MRE without even having to open it up and look for date codes. So I know it's taken a while to get to it, but we are going to do a full review on this. And just to try and make this video as special as possible, I have a menu number 10 Chili Macaroni from 2011, towards the end of 2011, almost 2012. I was hoping that I might have a chili macaroni entree from one of my commercial MREs from 2015, so it would be exactly 20 years difference, but this is still going to be 15 years, or 14 years, about 15 years anyway. So we're going to check out what's in both of these, and we're also going to try the entrees side by side, in addition to just the full review of this one. And after that long intro, I guess it's time to go ahead and check this out. I'm hesitant to even open this. Like, there's no point in saving this and holding on to it because it's going to go bad. Right now it's the best it's going to be. These were thought out at this point since Steve received them, did his reviews, sent me this one, and I've actually had this for about 2 days now. I've had some problems with the camera and video and stuff, but I've been trying to get to it. And they've been thought out for probably about 2 weeks now. Don't want to go too much longer. So the old brown bags, they didn't have the familiar peelable seal at the top. What they had was they just had a little notch right up at the top that you could just tear and just rip right into it. Just because of the historical nature of this one, I'm going to slice this one instead of tearing it open. Try and keep it looking kind of nice. In an MREinfo, you can see the contents of a 1995 menu number 2 Chili Macaroni. But of course it's much more fun to actually go into the bag and check it out for yourself. What's that smell? It's I'm trying to think what that smell's coming from. It's a very familiar smell. It's probably the bag itself. Nothing bad, just kind of brings back memories. I guess the best way to describe it, it's kind of like plastic and cardboard mixed, which kind of makes sense because of the there's obviously a lot of plastic in here. The bag's plastic, and then the cardboard box. I think just from intermingling for so long, and probably being frozen too. I think the reason these things will last when frozen is because unlike when you just have leftovers and throw it in the freezer, wrap it in plastic wrap, the fact that these are thermostabilized and they're in these retort pouches, and the things that are dry don't have any air in them. I think because of those kind of facts, oh wow, oh, this is gonna be fun. When you put them in the freezer, they don't have any air in them, so they're not gonna get any ice crystals, and you're not gonna get freezer burn. So even though these aren't really designed to be frozen, I think it's the perfect medium for them if you really want to make them last longer. So here we go. Here's the chili and macaroni. I gotta compare these ingredients to the ones in the 2011 one because look at how many ingredients there are. There's just a few. Beef, water, macaroni, tomatoes, tomato paste, chili powder, modified food starch, dehydrated onion, salt, brown sugar, lecithin, and spice. Sounds pretty natural. Sounds more or less like something you'd have on a recipe for making your own chili and macaroni. I don't know if they left some stuff out just because they figured no one really needed to know that, but anyway, this has a date code on it of 4322 with the 322nd day of 1994. This is by Tabasco. This is the full 8-ounce entree. Some of the earlier MREs, they were a little bit smaller, so they had obviously the box itself looks like the modern ones, so they had obviously done some improvements by this point. We have the flameless ration heater. It actually looks pretty familiar. The directions, some of the graphics on the directions look the same. It even has the rock or something. Now these have a different heating element than the modern ones. Modern ones have this 4-compartment heating element. And these ones have this cardboard one. But this is nice. A lot of times you find a lot of the filings have come out of these, but this, it seems as though the freezing actually helped this too. And actually this has a date code on it too, the 278th day of 24. I keep saying that. The 278th day of 1994. And this is pretty cool. The the little do not eat guy. I like that, that it's got the white inside. It's actually pretty cool. But Flemish ration heaters usually only last about 3 to 5 years, just like the food in here is designed to last. After that, they tend to get less effective. So we really do have to go ahead and try this one out. Look how long this thing is, too. I'm going to go ahead and try this one out and see how it works. I believe I'm going to, regardless of how this heats it up, I'm going to also put this in some hot water, because I really want this to be nice and heated up. I want to do this right when we compare it to the one from 2011. Alright, so what else we have here? We have crackers, which have a date code of 4354. These are from, all the stuff is from the end of 1994. And this seems to have a really good seal on it. I can see it's going to be cracked. It's almost sealed, so it's like it crushed these. They're not lined up quite right, and it just kind of crushed these this way, snapped them down. So they're not going to come out perfect, but hopefully they'll be in good shape. I don't see any reason to think they won't be. It's a great seal on there. And what do we have to put on the crackers? We have look at this little package of apple jelly. It's funny, now everything is all like the same color, but these are like all different shades. Shades of gray, I guess, although it's more brown. But anyway, some apple jelly, which feels okay. And the old grayish package of Coco beverage powder. Oh no, I'm sorry, this is lemon lime beverage-based powder from the 320th day of 1994. It sounds like that's fine in there. That'll be good. I also have, this is the first thing that isn't particularly sealed, so, well, the fact that it's frozen should be okay anyway. From the 23rd day of 23rd day of 1995. 5023, you probably can't see that. And it doesn't even say what this is. Huh. And this is kind of interesting because it actually, according to the menu on MREinfo, this one comes with Accessory Pack B, although it has an A on it. Maybe this is like a little bit of a variation here. Accessory Pack B is supposed to come with vanilla caramels as a candy. And I'm wondering if that's what this is. Kind of looks like the packaging that Tootsie Rolls would come in. But I wonder if these are the vanilla caramels. I'm not exactly sure because it doesn't have anything listed that this would be for this menu. Anyway, well, we'll find out soon enough. And here is the Oatmeal Cookie Bar. This reminds me a lot of the cornflake bars that they have nowadays. This is from the 34th day of 1995. And I love how these things, it's kind of like the chocolate-covered cookies, how they're just so vacuum sealed in there. And I always think that's a really cool presentation, and even more so than the crackers. The Oatmeal Cookie Bar, I've never actually had one of these. This is from Right Away Foods, too. We have the modern brown MRE spoon, like we're used to seeing. Unlike the ones from the early 80s when they still had the C-ration spoons. And this is going to be the most one of the more exciting parts. According to the menu, it's supposed to be a thermostabilized fruit. But I don't know if they were just using up some old components or what, but this is a freeze-dried strawberries. This is kind of old school, going back to the earlier MREs from the 291st day of 1994. And so this is a freeze-dried component, which I thought they had done away with by 1995, but I guess there's still a few. Maybe, like I said, maybe they just threw it in. They're trying to use up some stock. And these you can eat dry or you can reconstitute. We'll probably do a little bit of both. And these, once again, vacuum sealed. Vacuum sealed and freeze-dried, so these, even if they weren't frozen, these should be fine, but maybe even more fine. And then we have an accessory pack. It's got all your standard stuff in here. Like I said, the menu says it's Accessory Pack B, but this indicates it's A. So we have a kind of little variant here, from what I can see. You open this up and you get that smell of the Tabasco sauce. This is perfectly fine. Look at that. Usually these things dry up after a number of years, but this is great. But somehow, even though this is sealed, the smell does seem to come through and it permeates everything that's in here. Yeah, even the coffee, everything has that smell to it. But we have Taster's Choice instant coffee, some non-dairy dry cream substitute, and the sugar, and all this stuff feels perfectly fine. Sugar's kind of tight in here, but it seems to be still granular. We got the matches, the old green. Whoa, missing a couple here. I got shorted a little bit there. It's interesting, never seen that before. And some salt. The old chewing gum. This is going to be nice to try some 20-year-old chewing gum and not have it be, hopefully not have it be rock hard. This looks like it's going to be, that should be good. 21-year-old wet nap, moist towelette. Steve had mentioned this is pretty funny that it has directions for moist towelette. Tear open packet, unfold wet nap, and use. Interesting smell. And the toilet paper. Now let's take a quick look at all this stuff, and then we'll go ahead and start plating this. And here it is after 21 years waiting to be reviewed. 1995 Chili Macaroni MRE. And this is kind of interesting. There's a couple little variants in here. Now it does say it comes with a beverage-based powder with sugar, which is the one here, but it did say it was supposed to come with a cocoa beverage, and it didn't come with that. But it did come with this little mystery pack here, which could be the vanilla caramels. But according to the MREinfo, it was supposed to be in the accessory pack, and obviously that wasn't in there. But otherwise, it's just an interesting little time capsule here, and let's see how well this held up. Alright, so there's a part of me that would like to save this flameless ration heater as kind of an old relic. But as part of the freezing experiment, we have to see how well it held up. Let's just take a quick look here at this heating element. Same science behind it, but yeah, it's in this, as you can feel a little bit of the little grainy where some of the little filings, iron filings, are coming out here. But yeah, a little bit different. They obviously must have simplified things. This is probably a lot easier to manufacture this than it was this one. It's actually folded over and sealed. But it should be pretty cool now. Now the chili macaroni. It's funny, even this, yeah, that Tabasco smell that's from inside the accessory pack actually kind of permeated everything a little bit. It's not bad, but this dark green pouch here feels fine in there. Nothing's bloated, obviously. It's just ready to go. What does this say on here? Chili macaroni 4322. Same date as on the cardboard. I don't know if you can see that or not. There we go. Let's give this a try. I'm very impressed if this gives it any good amount of heat. Put up the fill lines here. Seems like it takes a little bit more water than the modern ones. Between the lines. Slide this down in here. Get this, center this on the pouch. Fold the top over. And let's see how quick this heats up. I won't even pause this. I just want to see if I can feel this heating up. Sorry, like I said, I know this is going to be a long video, but there's just a lot in here I'd like to cover. No, maybe I'll give it a little bit of time here. Let's give that a minute. Alright, about 20 seconds later, I can hear... Oh, look at this! Whoa, that's weird. Yeah, they definitely changed these things, huh? Look at that. But I'm not feeling any heat, but no, it's all sudsy. It's starting to get a little bit of warmth, but oh yeah, here it comes, here it comes. I'm hearing it, is what I was gonna say, but now I'm feeling it. There we go, it's puffing up. Yeah, this looks like it's gonna work good. Let's take one last look at this interesting little mess in here. And before it comes a hot mess, which, yeah, okay, that's hot. That is definitely, oh, that's too hot to handle. This is awesome. A 21-year-old flameless ration heater. Performing like a brand new one. Even better than some of the ones I've had. We'll stuff that back into the box and prop it up on a rock or something. Alright, while that's heating up, I did want to check out the menu number 10 Chili Macaroni from 2011. End of 2011. And just see what's in here, because we're going to use the entree from this one to compare this 21-year-old one to a 15-year-old one. I just kind of want to see what came in 2011. I don't have a newer one, so it's going to have to do. These crackers. You can see they really, there's not much different about them other than the color of the packaging. It's still vacuum sealed in there. Crackers, we have the chili macaroni, and there's something I wanted to check. Yes, there is indeed a difference here. Look at these ingredients versus these ingredients. I don't know if this is just truth in advertising, but it's hard to imagine they would have had to add this much more stuff over the years just to make it better. And of course we got the nutrition facts on the new one too. Let's see, 25% of sodium, 10% of carbs, 10% of fiber, 22% of saturated fat, and 16 grams of protein. So I'm gonna guess it's probably sort of similar to what's in the old one. Yeah, that's pretty interesting right there. Of course, now they don't have boxes anymore anyway, they just have the sleeves. And a newer flameless ration heater, accessory pack that has all the standard stuff. There's the coffee, creamer, sugar. It's got the matches in the brown instead of the green. And this one has ground red pepper to add to your chili mac. I also have jalapeno cheese spread to put on the crackers. Same exact spoon. Those haven't changed in 21 years. Pretty much exactly the same. And instead of just the regular beverage-based powder in this little bag, you get the big gigantic bag of Carbohydrate Electrolyte beverage-based powder. This is really interesting. I guess the idea is that you can put your water in here, but there's really no way to mix this up without making a mess. Oh well. We also have chocolate pudding dessert powder, kippered beef snack, beef jerky in there, that's cool. Tropical Skittles. That was best by February 12th, 2013. Oh, and another new thing which came out a couple years after the 1995 one, the hot beverage bag. Didn't have those in there. Nice little convenience. So that was in the 2011 chili macaroni. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this 2011 entree into some boiling water. So it's packed on the 263rd day of 2011. Yeah, so obviously they got rid of these little Tabasco bottles a few years ago. They have little packets of them. But also in this one there's no hot sauce at all, but there is the ground red pepper. Alright, here's the 2011 chili macaroni. This one itself is 5 years old, so it's on the vintage side. It's the end of it, towards the end of its, it should be the end of its shelf life. But I'm expecting that to be just fine. And we're just doing that as a comparison, so we can check out one that's 20 years old and one that's 5 years old. And the original plan was that I was going to put this 2005 chili mac into the boiling water too, but this flameless ration heater is working really good. So I think I might just, wow, that's really hot. I think I might just let it go with that so we can see how effectively that's going to heat it up, because it seems like it's going to do a pretty good job. And let's see what else we have here. I'm going to check out this sort of mystery package, which doesn't say anything on it other than the date code. Tootsie Rolls? Let's see. Tootsie Rolls. Not vanilla though, these are regular chocolate ones. 21-year-old Tootsie Rolls. I have a feeling these are going to be a little bit better than what you expect from 21-year-old Tootsie Rolls. Let's check out the crackers. Like I said, you can see how they weren't put in there exactly straight. Let's see if we get a nice hiss out of this one. Yep, I don't know if you could hear that, but it was pretty good. It's going to be pretty crummy though. Should I give this a smell? Wow, it smells just like perfectly fresh crackers. Nothing at all wrong with that. I will say, and I wanted to wait till I opened this before I said it, I've seen Kiwi Dude, Gundog, and Steve1989, other people have some really bad luck with their crackers as far as being bleachy, you know, going bad. And I don't recall ever, as you know, I've done a lot of MREs, I don't recall ever having bad ones. These seem to be perfectly fine. And it kind of brings you back, that smell. Seems to be something ever so slightly different about them. Go ahead and try it out now. Yeah, it's just a dry cracker. And before I put the jelly on, let me check out the Oatmeal Cookie Bar. I don't know whether this will have a hiss or not, but let's see how the vacuum seal breaks. If I can get it open. It doesn't want to open. Pop it out a little bit. Yeah, nothing really visible. Like I said, I've never actually had one of these before, but it looks a lot like the cornflake bar. It's this compressed little thing that's similar to like a survival ration bar. Doesn't really smell like much. Not too much to it. Yeah, let's try a little pack of apple jelly here. You know, I kind of do wish I had gotten the thermostabilized fruit because, as Steve had said, I did want to see how that would have held up. Look at that apple jelly. It's not dark or anything. It's looking good. Look at that. It's just packaged today or something. I'm gonna check out the freeze-dried strawberries. This is a treat getting these things. You don't see these, obviously you don't see these anymore. And these were always kind of fun. I always liked eating these dry. It's kind of a hassle to have to try and reconstitute them. That had a little bit of a hiss in it, to it. But it would have been interesting to see how a 21-year-old thermostabilized fruit would have held up after all that freezing. Look at that. Look at that color. There is your chunk of freeze-dried strawberries. Look at that. You see that strawberry right there? It's just strawberries. Now the look at it, it still holds its shape too. I think it was still in there. What does it say here? It says, eat dry or reconstitute in 2 ounces of cold water. To reconstitute, cover fruit with 2 ounces of water. Let soak until soft. It's really hard to read these things. I'm gonna reconstitute half of it and eat half of it as it is. But for now, let's just leave it here for display. And then we'll do the lemon lime beverage base powder. I like how they had just the one beverage base powder pouch because they didn't have all the ingredients in here. This is before they started putting that on, and then they just printed on the flavor. This is going to go like they do nowadays. This is going to go into 12 ounces of water. Which I have right here. Seems like there's more powder in these than there is now. It's that same, wow, it almost smells like a pool, like chlorine. Not that there's anything bad about it, it's just, it's not a very natural kind of smell, very chemical, lemon-limey smell. As you'd expect. It seems to be your standard MRE beverage-based powder drink. Classic. The days before the Carbohydrate Electrolyte one, so it's not going to be quite as much like a Gatorade sports drink kind of a thing. But, as expected, it looks just fine. And I'm going to check out the coffee. I think that's the last thing we need to look at. Taster's Choice. 21-year-old. Looks absolutely fine. Smells like coffee. And since we have this stuff mostly used, I'm going to use the sugar, which also looks just fine. And the cream substitute, which also looks just fine. It smells good. And it doesn't seem to have suffered 21 years of freezing. It's already freeze-dried, I guess. What's the difference? And I'm just going to put a little bit less of this drink into here. Just for display purposes. Well, that leaves us with is our Chili Mac, which has been heating up for a while. Let's see. I forgot to mention the flameless ration heater does seem to have an odd smell to it. You know what it is? I just realized what it is. It's the cardboard. It has a slightly less chemically smell. It's not actually, I don't think it's actually as bad as the smell of the new ones. But it kind of reminded me, as I was sitting in its box there, it kind of reminded me a little bit of the smell of like an Army Navy store, if that makes any sense. And I think what it is, it was the cardboard. When I get out of the Army, they actually hadn't started using the flameless ration heaters yet, so I don't think I've ever used these old cardboard ones. Oh, that is hot. That is really hot. Let me wipe this off, and we'll check it out. There's a lot of cool stuff in here, but this really is the moment of truth right here. 21-year-old Chili Mac. Smells fine. You know, Steve had mentioned that in his tuna and noodles that the noodles had gone pretty soft. I can see that that could be the case with this too. It's funny, it does smell a little bit different than the modern ones, but I think that's because the ingredients have changed. As we've seen it saw in the box, there's a lot less ingredients in this one, at least a lot less listed. But I don't know if you can see that, there's actually steam coming off this. Usually that only happens when I heat up my entrees in the hot water. This one was only heated up in the flameless ration heater. So that's quite impressive. And here we have some nice hot 21-year-old chili and macaroni. That's looking really good. Not a bad looking meal, is it? Last thing I want to do is attempt to break these strawberries in half. Didn't work out too bad. Broke it right on a strawberry, look at that. Some freeze-dried goodness right there. And I'm going to keep this dry. This I'm going to reconstitute. It says to use 2 ounces of water. Since I'm only using half of the strawberries, I'm going to use about 1 ounce of water, maybe a little bit more. And I'm going to give that some time to reconstitute. Actually, it's melting right in there. It smells good. It smells like when you have frozen strawberries and you thaw them out. I probably should use a little bit less water. But, alright, that looks good. Alright, now I know I want to compare the old Chili Mac to the new one, or the 5-year-old one, but I gotta get into this while it's still hot. Alright, so this is 21-year-old food here. This is a weird little looking thing here. Oh, what is this? I don't know what that is, but some kind of little beef byproduct. Anyway, 21-year-old food here. It looks fine, it smells fine. Like I said, it smells a little bit different than the modern ones, but I think that's because the recipe was a little bit different. Pretty simple dish. Pasta, macaroni, and beef in a tomato-based sauce. And here we go, we're going to try it out. Tastes fine. It's got that slight little acidic kind of a kick to it. A little bit of a spice. What was that from? That's from the chili powder and the last ingredient where it just says spice. Chili powder and spice. Beef's good. I will say the macaroni it's a little on the soft side. It's kind of it's as though it has been overcooked. If that makes any sense. When you have overcooked pasta, it gets kind of soft and soggy, and I think that has something to do with the freezing process. If it wasn't frozen, I would say it has something to do with the fact that it's been sitting in this stuff for 21 years. What is this thing? Ooh. I guess that's just some fat from the beef, but they might have better quality control nowadays. That's a little bit weird looking, but no, this tastes fine. It tastes really good. Considering all things considered, you know. I'm going to eat this whole thing, but I do want to compare it to the newer one. So let's check everything else out, and then we'll do our little comparison. I don't know what this stuff would be. It must be the fat from the beef. I keep seeing more of it. It's the kind of thing that you probably wouldn't see in a MRE today. I don't know, it's just a little weird looking. Probably wouldn't even notice this 21 years ago if you're in the military and had this as an MRE, but there's something a little disturbing about that. I think it's just some fat, like a little bit of gristle or something. It's something they may have, quality control may have gotten a little bit better over the years. But I gotta have some more of this. It's really good, even with the soft macaroni. I mean, we're eating history here. We're eating food that's 21 years old, and it tastes pretty much the same as it tasted 21 years ago. You can't say that about too many things. Let's try the crackers here. I did have a little piece of cracker, but let's try another one just to be sure. Crackers seem to be absolutely fine. It's as though time has stood still for those. And some of the apple jelly. Let's try some of that by itself. Look at that. It's brand new. Tastes like it's brand new too. I guess if you had to say something, maybe a slight bit of the packaging flavor in there, but very slight at best. And that's really good. Yeah, it's even kind of firm. Which I don't know if it has something to do with aging or just the seeming freshness of it, but it's not. It has the liquid part, but it's not. The whole thing is not all that runny. Yeah, I really can't not eat this whole thing. It'd be a waste of that 20 years it's been in the making. It's been waiting to be eaten. I'll try the lemon lime beverage. It tastes the same as it does today. I don't know if they've changed that at all over the years. Probably not. Let's see, save these. Let's try a Tootsie Roll. 21-year-old Tootsie Roll. Let's see how fresh this is. This has some numbers on it, but it's not, doesn't look like a standard date code. It's stuck to the packaging, but it's still really soft. This might as well be fresh from the store. Look at that. Wow, very chewy. This is it's amazing. I've had like 3 or 4-year-old Tootsie Rolls in MREs before. Certainly perfectly edible, but they feel like they're going to break your teeth. This is just, it's so fresh. It's amazing. Wow, that's great. And it's time for the Oatmeal Cookie Bar. Not too much to say about that. Big compressed bar of oatmeal. It's not particularly hard though. It crumbles up pretty good when you bite into it. That's not going to break your teeth either. It's good. It's strange. It's not like your standard cookie. It doesn't exactly taste like an oatmeal cookie, but like I said, more along lines of like a survival ration bar. But a good way to. Oh, there's some sweetness too. Yeah, it's funny. I didn't really taste it when I was eating it, but it kind of the crumbs that got on my lips when I went to lick them. It's make it taste the sugar, and it is kind of like a regular oatmeal cookie, just in a compressed bar form. Just leaves us with a couple of things. We get the coffee, which I've always said I'm not much of a judge of coffee. It certainly doesn't taste like anything's gone bad in there. Not really sure, 100% sure myself, but. And then the strawberries. Let's see how these reconstituted. Look fine. It tastes perfect. That's really good. I wonder if this would actually go good on the cookie. Let's go ahead and try it out. Strawberry oatmeal cookie. Yeah, it changes up a little bit. A little extra sweetness. I don't know if there's anything in here, if there's any sugar in here, if it's just straight up strawberry, but it's really good either way. And of course we have to try it dehydrated. Like I said, out in the field, this was my preferred method. I think for most people it was the preferred method too, just to eat this dry. It was kind of a fun thing. Kind of like the astronaut food, astronaut ice cream, astronaut strawberries, same exact thing. It brings you back. It's weird, it kind of melts in your mouth. Gives you that initial crunch and then it just kind of starts melting away. Halfway through eating it, it just sort of disappears into your mouth. This is all some good stuff. I gotta say thank you, Steve1989, for giving me this opportunity. Before I finish this up, actually, I probably should put a little Tabasco on here. I kind of want to save this bottle, but yeah, let's just break into this. And some vintage Tabasco here. Still liquidy, but it's got this this weird bit at the neck that seems to be blocking it. Give me a second here. Let me see if I can clear that out. This is a perfect opportunity to say something about MREs. I'm surprised that they've never included. It's not that it'd be that big of a deal to put into it that they never included a toothpick in the accessory packs. Excuse me. All right, let's try that out. Throw some crackers in there too. Yep. To me, this doesn't need it, but if you find the spices in this not enough, it's nice that they let you kick it up with the Tabasco. So that's about it for this. I think we've tried everything. But before we go, we have to compare the 1995 Chili Mac to a 2011 Chili Mac. All right, and here is a Super Hut 2011 Chili Macaroni in a slightly different colored pouch, the 1985 one. It's very hot, so I'm not going to judge it by the heat because obviously the 1995 one has been resting for quite a while. The macaroni looks a little bit bigger in this. It does have a different look to it. Let's check it out. Yeah, I want to say there's a little bit more in here too. I know they're both listed as 8 ounces, and I know it looks like less now because I've eaten some of the old one, but this looks like a little bit more in here. Yeah, the color's a little bit different. Texture seems to be slightly different too. This has more of a liquidy appearance, so this was actually pretty dry. I think even when it came out it looked like this. Let's see, the macaroni. Macaroni looks the same. I thought it looked a little bit bigger, but it's almost like a plainer looking dish for some reason. I think looks like it has less meat. It either has less meat or more macaroni. I don't know, I mean it's the same dish, just that it has all those extra ingredients. So let's actually taste the difference here. 1995. And 2011. You know, the newer one, it does taste more like the canned stuff, like the Chef Boyardee Franco-American. And that's what I've always said about MREs in general, is it does taste like that, but there's definitely a difference. I don't know how much is attributed to the age, but this does seem to have it tastes a little bit more like real food, like as though you made your own chili mac. It was definitely packaged, definitely a prepared, processed kind of a food, but and the beef isn't as smooth. It does have little bits in it. Seems like they've improved the process of quality control. And the macaroni. This one's a little bit more firm. It's not quite as mushy as this one, but I attribute that to the fact that it was frozen for so long. I don't fault the old chili mac for that. Yeah, they're both good, but there's definitely a subtle difference. This is like slicker. It feels more like a commercial product, like what you'd find in the can, like I said. And definitely more sauce. You can see there's nothing running in here. It's all just meat. This actually has a sauce to it. And like once again, I don't think that's because of the age. I think it's just process. It's really interesting. I don't know how much of it is attributed to the difference in ingredients. As you can see, there definitely is a difference. I don't know. And they're both good, but it's pretty amazing that I can eat this. I'm going to finish this up now. Yeah, I think I should eat this on camera. If you're watching this video, I must have survived. If there are any issues, I'll put them in the description below, or down here somewhere. But it really tastes just fine. Everything in here has been excellent. Thank you again, Steve1989. This is an awesome opportunity to try something out. Definitely something you don't see every day. I'm gonna try the gum too. Yeah, it's a little hard. It crumbles up when you bite into it. No, it's not too bad. That might be the worst thing of this whole ration. And it's not bad. Chew it a little bit and it turns into gum. All in all, everything in here was edible. So that was a look at an MRE, menu number 2, chili and macaroni, from 1995. Thank you for watching.